In this video, I'm going to be going over the component identification and measurement assignment. So just as an example here, this is a small capacitor, and if you're wondering how I identified that as a capacitor, first of all, most passive devices are two-leaded devices. When we talk about resistors, capacitors, inductors, they typically have two leads. Also, the value is printed on the top, 47N for nanofarads, and a voltage rating of 100 volts. So you'd never see those ratings on an inductor or a resistor typically. So the main parts that we're interested in measuring are the outside dimensions and then the lead diameter on the device. So for example, I'm going to use my calipers here. And you always want to make sure you zero out your calipers to start with. Sometimes you might see a small error at the range, but close the jaws all the way and make sure it's zeroed out. And I'm doing these measurements in inches. So if I measure the outside dimensions here, it comes out to 0.28 inches or 280 thousandths. I'm going to round it. I don't really care about the very, very last decimal place, the 5/10 thousandths. So 0.282 probably is what you could round that to. And then if I measure the height of the package, it's 0.260 inches. And what I'm going to call the width or the thickness here, I guess, would be 0.1005. So I'd expect that that's really supposed to be a 0.10 inch dimension. Now the lead length we're not really concerned about because that's going to be inserted into the circuit board. But what we do care about is the lead diameter. And you'll see that when we actually get into part design a little bit. So if I measure that diameter of that lead, we get a measurement of about 0.02 if I do some rounding, or 20 thousandths of an inch. So that'd be considered 20 mils. The last step of the assignment is doing a sketch of the component. So I'm not asking for anything too precise here, but for example, we can kind of draw this in a little bit of an ISO view here for the two leads. And perhaps the value here, 47 nanofarads, and for example, 100 volts. And that would be kind of like what you'd expect to see for a drawing for this component.